This is an addendum to my public statement for removing presumptions and assumptions that I am a legal name and that my body is not surety for anyone's legal name, no matter what entity. What I would like to do is to explain how it is that the system engages and interacts with living individuals, men and women. When we are born, we are issued with one of these, a birth certificate. Before the birth certificate, our parents help to fill in this particular form called a live born record or a live birth certificate in some countries. Here your parents actually write and fill in all the spaces and inform on their newborn child who has been birthed in a hospital. Now you'll find that all of the characters and all of the entities that turn up in hospital are exactly the same as the entities that turn up in a shipping yard. A ship is birthed, a child is birthed. A docket is given to the dock authorities, hence a doctor is there to deliver the child, etc., etc. And so this is a certificate of the birth, and this is a creation of an organization. This is produced by the state. The state is controlled and run by the Vatican, the Holy See, the Roman Curia. This, in fact, is a bond, an instrument, a financial instrument, where the banks, the church, because you see the church is in control of this maritime commerce of the Holy See. And you see, due to various papal bulls of history, such as Unum Sanctum of Pope Boniface VIII, wherein they claimed to own all the chattel property souls on the planet, this is a derivative of that papal bull system. This is, in fact, what you would call an indulgence. This is an indulgence. Through this, commerce is done. The name is registered, the name of the little child that the parents gave them, and so here you will find a given name and a surname in all capital letters. Anything in all capital letters is dead. It's a fiction. It's a person. It's an entity, a corporation, corpse, dead. This is why when you are buried in a tomb, your tombstone will have writing on it that is in all capital letters, indicating that the individual is not breathing anymore, it is dead. What happens with this is registered. A registry occurs. Now, this information is for everyone on the planet. Anyone who has this, a birth certificate, is a Catholic belonging to the Catholic Church, the Universal Church. It's a baptism. You are baptized into the Catholic Church. There is a watermark through this paper. This is put on bond paper or security paper. You see, security paper, and it has all these numbers on it. You see, these are finance numbers. These are commercial numbers, so that they can transact and make money from this bond. Now, whether you are of any other denomination other than Catholic, and you think you are a Mormon, a Jehovah's Witness, Pentecostal, etc., you cannot be. Not if you have one of these. If you have a birth certificate, you belong to the Catholic Church. It's universal, it's the New World Order, it's been around for a long time, and the Catholic Church has been busy for thousands of years building this system. It is empire. This is evidence of empire. Empire claims to own your soul. Through this device, since the name is copyrighted, they claim to have some kind of authority or some kind of claim over the living body. Why is that? Well, because you see, these are issued, and it is a requirement. One of their rules after issuing these is that the parents, in turn, within 7 years, reply to the government or write to the government and let them know, notify them that their child is living. And so supposedly then this changes the status of the dead person lost at sea. It changes it to a living soul. And so as we do not know this, and as many of us have gone ahead and lived 50 years, 60 years without knowing this, and leaving this just to be, because we believe that it is important and it is necessary to live in the modern day, to have one of these, because then you belong somewhere. You are a citizen. This has nothing to do with citizenship. Your birth certificate is property, copyright property of the Vatican, and the legal name belongs to them. Hence, every time you use this or defend this or go to court or make other identification items through this, such as licenses, such as passports, etc., through this, we are committing fraud. Now, supposedly the only entities that can use, have permission to use that legal name is the bar. Apparently, the bar have the permission to use this. Now, in so doing, they intimidate living men and women when they invite them into their courts. They intimidate them into using and accepting and being this name. This is fraud. Rest assured, dear friends, that this is fraud. Anyone who intimidates you and reduces you to a name is committing fraud, liable up to 20 years in prison. Yes, please check it out. Do your homework and find out that if you use that name that you believe is yours, which is on your birth certificate, you are actually using property that belongs to the Catholic Church. This is a financial instrument. It is a bond, and hence the bond and stock market. What the stocks are is humans. The whole system, the military-industrial complex, the perennial wars, the killing, the bloodshed, the enslavement of mankind, the prisons full of persons, have all are all pinned to this instrument here. This is the one and only instrument that is keeping Rome and empire alive. This is the sole cause of all suffering, all evil, all unlawful and illegal activity on the planet. Now, what I would be doing is learning about this. First thing, learn that what this actually is, what it truly is. Because each time you use it, know this, that you are using copyrighted property. It is not your property. This makes you a minor. A minor is a child. A child needs to be looked after by Big Daddy. This is why Big Daddy, when politicians get into power, they get into power by lying. They never tell the truth because they are talking to persons. They are talking to these dead persons. They're not talking to people. They're not making any promises to any living men and women. And this is because they also are speaking from their corporate position. You see, when Barack Obama gives a speech, He's not speaking as Barack Obama, the man. He's speaking as the chief CEO of the Vatican corporation called United States, not the Republic of the United States of America. That's the de jure government. And so, but speaking from the office of President of the United States, the office is a fiction. It is a Vatican-owned office. All offices belong to the Vatican. All ministries belong to the Vatican. Hence, when Barack Obama is speaking through his position as president, he is speaking as a fiction, not as the living man. It is the dead man speaking to other dead men. You must understand this. If you do not understand this, you will never understand why there is so much trouble on the planet. Politicians lie because they are talking to dead persons. They will not lie if they are under oath and they have to talk from the man. If Barack Obama has to talk to another man, he must tell the truth. Politicians are under no obligation to tell the truth. Churches are under no obligation to tell the truth because we have chosen to be dead. We have chosen to live our lives through this dead entity. See the numbers up here, dear friends? You're welcome to have a look at this. If you go to a website called fidelity.com, you can punch in your birth certificate numbers and you can see how much money your bond has generated over your lifetime for the banksters. The banksters purchase these at an average of $6 million and generate an average of $6 billion over the average human lifespan. This is nothing but a filthy piece of Babylonian commerce. Please understand this. There are so many good people out there that think they're Baptists, Pentecostals, Jehovah's Witnesses. You cannot be. You cannot serve two masters. You have already been baptized. The watermark is there. They put the watermark in there as a trick, as their way of baptizing you, because when you take this and use it, the moment you use this instrument is the moment you have started on the path of usury. Using, usury, usufruct. Usury is to profit commercially from something you did not do any work for. So this particular device here, this instrument which we all have but which we are not, everyone has a legal name, but not anyone is a legal name. This is why the scriptures are very, very clear when they say that the dead shall rise. This is the dead. To rise is to deal with this, to release yourself from legal bondage and enter into lawful salvage. How? By not being named. When you are named, you are numbered. The powers that be know the magic of letters. Letters are numbers. A is 1. B is 2. Hence, when your name is printed out, it has a number. And you are numbered. See the prisons see the prisoners in all the prisons around the world that carry numbers. Numbers are names, names are numbers. This is why the scriptures teach that all those who bow down to false images and who respect persons shall suffer the consequences. It is considered to be a crime. It is also considered to be a sin. Hence, this is why they want you to sign every time you use this instrument, because the silent G in the word sign indicates that you have sinned and you have done it off your own bat. And this is what the system is designed to do. It is involuntary servitude. It's not it is voluntary servitude. Involuntary servitude supposedly was outlawed in 1815 at the Vienna Convention, I believe. I may be wrong, but somewhere around that time they did this number on humanity where they said voluntary slavery is abolished. Yes, but they didn't. Involuntary slavery is abolished, but they didn't tell you that voluntary slavery is definitely in vogue and very, very alive and well. And this is it. Through this legal name, legal tender is produced. Legal tender is that money you carry in your pockets. That money is not your property. It's not the government's property. It's not our property. It does not belong to we, the people. It belongs to the Federal Reserve Bank. Now, anyone who is shrewd and intelligent will go off and find out who actually owns the Federal Reserve and find out that it does not belong to any government. It belongs to foreign individual people, foreign investors. They created central banks, and they've installed these banks over many, many hundreds of years. They have been working arduously to install their central banks in every country around the planet. There's only a handful of countries that have not accepted central banks, and their treasury presses are printing their money. You see, wherever there is a central bank, you'll find that the treasuries have been shut down. The treasury belongs to we, the people. The treasury should be printing the money at no interest, no usury. So the central banks, if you look at the history of the United States of America, you'll find that central banks were introduced early on in the piece in the early 1800s by the Rothschilds and the Vatican, endeavoring to try and enslave the free American Republic people. And that only lasted 4 years. And I think the first one was ended by Andrew Jackson, the 7th President of the United States. Or, if I'm wrong, he ended the charter of the second central bank. And then for many years, America existed and prospered as the richest nation on the planet without a central bank. Twice the merchant international criminal banksters installed central banks in the United States. Finally, in 1913, Woodrow Wilson allowed the Rothschilds and the Vatican back into this free country, free land nation, the United States of America, and allowed the Federal Reserve Bank to operate. Ever since that fateful day, 23rd of December 1913, there has been trouble. That action funded the First World War because the Wall Street banksters and the European criminal banksters, the Rothschilds, the Warburgs, the Morgans, the Schiffs, the Goldsbergs, and all of these criminal gangs were able to fund the First World War. They were able to fund the Bolshevik Revolution 3 years after. They were able to fund every single world war, every single war and conflict on the globe since the Federal Reserve Bank was installed in 1913. And this is the instrument they use. This is the sole thing that gives them the energy they need and the motivation and the money they need, because they draw a lot of money from this, dear friends, to continue the blood shedding. This is it. We all have it. We're all contributing. We all contribute. We are all part of it. The scriptures tell us, get out of Babylon the Great, my people, if you do not want to share with her in her sins. This is the device, and this is the sole device by which our energy is harvested to create money, fiat currency, false money, which has no value, to continue to perpetrate all of these Ponzi schemes and derivative Ponzi markets. What is a derivative? A derivative is derived from your birth certificate. So anyone who's sitting there nice and comfortable and supposedly relaxed and enjoying the comforts of Western living, thinking, oh, how beautiful it is to be so rich and have properties. You can never own any properties if you have a legal name. If you have a birth certificate and you have done nothing with it, you cannot own anything. The Vatican owns everything. Lock, stock, and barrel. I know many people will not accept this and scoff and laugh. That's fine. The smarter ones will do their homework. What has been done is that in 1933, the banksters had another coup. They bankrupted all the nations. Yeah, that's what they did. They bankrupted all the nations. Australia, United States of America, Canada, UK, all bankrupted. And what they did was they created laws that required that everyone born in the nation was to have a birth certificate. And what was going to happen was that the name became a bond for financial purposes, and the collateral for this bond and for the indebted nations were the people. The people were chattelized, collateralized, and these are the certificates. This is a certificate saying that your sweat equity will go towards banks and usury and interest and the military industrial complex. Please do not be deluded. Please do not think that all of your sweat equity and all of the money and energy that was stolen from you via taxes, rates, and all of these bullshit Ponzi things that we have to pay for, they have all come from this device, and none of it has gone to infrastructure for your countries and your nations. None of it. Zip, diddly, squat, diddly, doo-dah, none of it. Not a cent. Every single red cent has gone to the banks. Have you noticed that the banksters have bigger and better houses in Switzerland and bigger and bigger accounts and protected by the Vatican and the Swiss Guard and all of these pedophile criminals? You haven't noticed that 80 individuals own own more than 3.5 billion of Earth's inhabitants? 80 individuals, banking families that do nothing but steal money from you. This is how they steal money from you. When you go to court, don't think you are going to a place where justice is administered. It is a church. Please see my presentation, The Vatican Owns Your Soul. You are going to church. The churches are run by the courts are run by the Catholic Church to make money from indulgences. This is an indulgence. Find out what an indulgence is. The Inquisition is still on. There is no Baptist, no Jehovah's Witness governing body, no Pentecostal governing body that will teach their dupes that go to their church that they do not actually belong to their church. They belong to this. This is the book of death because it's a registry. Regis is the king. This is a record. This is the book of life. Why? Because you see here a little individual called Santo Bonacci, informed by his mother Palmina and his father Vittorio Bonacci, is living Stillborn is crossed out. Living. This is a record. This is a registered certificate. Regis is the king. Do you have a king? Or do you acknowledge Prime Creator? Prime Creator does not partake in these paper images, these idols that we have all bowed down to. James 2:9, God is not a respecter of persons. If ye respect persons, you are sinning. Acts 10:34, the book of Acts 10:24 says, whoever respects persons is sinning. A person is a mask. Back in the Greek classical days, when an actor went to the amphitheater to perform, he would put on a mask. The mask of Hercules, the mask of Dionysus, the mask of Bacchus, Diana. It's a person. Personage is a crime. The bar commit this crime every day. The bar should be behind bars. The bars of the prisons should be for the barbar, lying, barbaric, barbarian bar. They should be in jail because every day they are committing barratry, personage, and they are intimidating people to join their living soul to that dead fiction name. This is a crime. They should all be behind bars for 20 years minimum, if not other penalty devices, unless they come clean and come out of the shadows, because this is a shadow. This is a shadow device, dear friends. Be warned. I have warned you. And I've warned the ones who are laughing. They will laugh all the way to jail, because that's where you will end up, because this instrument alone will put you in jail behind bars. This is the fraud of the universe, and all lawyers, attorneys, they are all scum of the earth, and they are all people traffickers. They are running the slave business of Rome. Slavery has never ended, dear friends, and we are voluntarily participating in it by our own ignorance and stupidity. Time for wakey-wakeys, and the dead shall rise. Hence Jesus says, let the dead bury their dead. Time to come to life, dear friends, and enjoy the true de jour living of no name. I am. I am. Above me is Prime Creator, not God. Generation, operation, dissolution. Creator, preserver, destroyer. God. God is electrical force. Prime Creator is magnetic power, omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent, immortal. When you take no name, and when you come under the divine providence of Prime Creator, source, cause, not God, because to them, God is anything. Check out the God of the Jehovah's Witnesses. It's quite different to the Pentecostals, which is different to the Catholics and to the Orthodox and to the Methodists and Presbyterians. They're all different. That's God. Guns, oil, drugs. Beware of worshipping God, but know the source of all things, and be under divine cause. Prime Creator, not second creator, the demiurge, the demon. Dear friends, it's time to address this. There are many ways. This video is an addendum to my public statement for removing assumptions. I removed the assumption that I am this entity. This entity was created on April 22nd. That's the birthday of this entity. I was born, on the other hand, on March the 24th, living March the 24th. This was birthed on the 22nd of April. Please check the 2 dates on your birth certificate, guys, because what you're doing is you're paying homage to the person. You are living your life through the person, a dead person, and you will suffer the consequences. And beware of the bar. The bar are devils in sheep's clothing. They are doing the work of this evil book of the dead. This is the book of the dead. Here you cannot have life. And in the scriptures it tells you that those who did not have their names in the book of the living, recorded, not registered, recorded in the book of the living, did not have a part in the paradise. Thank you very much.